as women, we were taught to be pretty, but not too sexy, to attract men, but don't enjoy it while attracting men. And this kind of good girl conditioning can be exhausting for us women and girls. So today, let's get right into good girl conditioning and what it does to us in terms of sexual shame. Hi everyone, welcome again to Ones and Rabbits podcast, and as always, I'm your host Gail, and I'm with my gorgeous co-host.
Thank you. I'm Kath. Hi, Gail.
Hiya.
You're looking great today.
Thank you. So you know what? I was rushing, and the heat in Ghana is crazy these days. So my makeup got very messy, and I don't even know how I'm sitting here this way. I was so stressed out.
But you look gorgeous, and you know, sometimes a whole messy makeup, messy hair kind of thing, it can be sexy, you know.
Right. I'm feeling it right now. Thank you. Also, now I can't even tell that you are wearing braces because it looks like it's in there forever. It does not look different. You don't look any different.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, it's been a little over a month now. I am getting used to it. I can still feel it when I'm eating, especially. And oh my god, flossing and brushing my teeth takes like 20 minutes. It is crazy. I hate it. But, you know, it'll be over soon, hopefully.
Yeah, and it'll be worth it. So just getting right into it because we sort of have limited time today. So our topic for discussion today is that good girls are tired, and we are going to explore how good girl conditioning impacts sexual shame, and just how women in general have an attitude or a disposition towards sex and all that. So Kat, in your experience with like societal expectations, gender stereotypes, personal experience, what does good girl conditioning looks like? What is it? What is good girl conditioning?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first read this episode, the show note, I actually thought of like good girl conditioning as in like a kink thing, you know, kind of in fetish and kink, like being a good girl. And I was like,
oh my god, yeah, your brain is in the gutter.
Kind of like you're conditioning someone to be like a good girl, you know.
Good
That's
girl.
what I thought.
Oh, you know, when they tell you good girl in that voice, I'm like, oh please. Anyway, yeah, no good men talk today. So let's get back on track. What does good girl conditioning looks like to you?
So, as growing up as women, as girls, we were taught since a very young age that we should be quiet, that we should appease people, we should be people pleasers, we shouldn't talk back.
Yeah.
I know that when I was young, a lot of girls my age, they were taught to be gentle, to kind of don't talk back to your elders. When men do something, when boys do something to you, you don't try to confront them, don't be confrontational, don't challenge authority. Kind of like the song Sit Still Look Pretty. It's like that. Girls and women are taught from a very young age to just be quiet, to sit still, to look pretty, to be a good girl, to not stir up the pot, because we're there for decoration, arm candy. That's where all those words come from, right? Just be an arm candy. I feel like in society, that's kind of a way for society to control us, because once they put us in this box and they start to give us a set of rules on what to do to be a good girl, to be a good woman, then we don't stray away from that. Because if we do anything to challenge authority, to try to undermine patriarchy, then we're considered to be a bad person. Interestingly enough, in Cambodia, there's actually a set of poem called the Women's Code of Conduct, where it was written by a king. Of course, it's written by a man. where
Oh.
it highlights exactly what you should do to be considered a proper woman. So things like you should wake up before your husband, you should go to sleep after him, you should be a good sister, a good wife, a good servant, a good mother. You shouldn't go visit your neighbor for too long. When your husband is speaking harsh words at you, you should try to be gentle and kind and try to calm him down. Things like that, you know, there's literally a set of rules written for that. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly, because what the actual fact? Like, women as girls, we grow up with all these rules that usually suppresses what we are as people. So we just grow up trying to fill these shoes that people who have no business given to us to fill give to us. Because why is a man coming up with a code of conduct for women? Like, what do you know about my experience as a woman? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Men sit on their high horses and then think that, oh, we are such superior beings because I can carry a truck, I can pick up a truck. So anyway. Yeah.
So what about you? What does good girl conditioning mean to you?
Yeah, so I agree to everything you said, but just sort of like bringing it around to like what our topic is centered on today, good girl conditioning and like the impact it has on sexuality and women just having sexual shame. I think for a lot of girls and women, you mentioned it before, the people pleasing, it seeps into their sexual life in a way that a lot of women, a lot of girls do not initiate sexual acts. Like, it's just always the men initiating and they just go with it, even if they are not in the mood for sex, because the man is initiating and society has taught them that, has taught us, not them, because like I'm one, has taught us that we are decorations, we are ornaments, we are playthings for men. We are just there to support and uplift men. A lot of women don't say no to men, not because they don't want to, but they've just been conditioned that as a good woman, as a good girl, as a good wife, if your husband, if your partner, if your whatever, who is like a man, wants sexual contact, you have to give it to them. Good girl conditioning is also why a lot of women fake moan. Like, they know that what is going on, I don't like it, I'm not enjoying this, but to make the man feel better, a lot of us just go along with what they are doing, and then you fake moan, even though this nigga is telling you, yes, take it, but you know he's like, you know, so you're not feeling anything, and right, and there's nothing you're taking. What are you supposed to take? Like nigga, I can barely feel you here anyway, so can we just get rid of this whole thing? So yeah, a lot of pressure to perform during sex and not enjoy it. You perform to make your male partner feel better, but you yourself, you're like, can this be over already? Like, please. And good girl conditioning also makes women who have desires that are not vanilla feel guilty for the desires they have, because as a good girl, why do you want a man to tie you up before you can have like amazing sexual pleasure? As a good girl, why do you want a man to call you a whore, a slut? Why do you want a man to degrade you to heighten your sexual pleasure? So a lot of women tend to hide like their kinkiness, their fetishes, because I need to be a good girl, I need to be a good woman. So yeah, I feel like generally good girl conditioning suppresses sexuality for like a lot of women, because I don't know, women, there's this whole idea that men are more sexual than women. I think it also stems from this whole thing that, you know, men are like the sexual beings and they're the ones who are always wanting and doing sex, and women are always, taking whatever men give them. That's where this whole idea stems from, that men are more sexual beings. But some women are like, their sex drive is crazy, but they suppress it, they hide it, because the man they are with probably can't keep up. So if they show their sexual drive, then they won't be a good wife or a good partner anymore. Which is like, I think it's sad that society makes us feel this way about ourselves. So going back to like society and the things and the ways in which they condition women to be like, good girls, what does patriarchy and religion, what role, what effect does it have on women carrying sexual shame and feeling like, I need to be good, like this word good that is associated with women? What role does patriarchy and religion play?
So I'm gonna talk about patriarchy first, and I'm gonna attach that to a story that this experience that I had. So I remember years back, I was hanging out with my ex, my boyfriend at the time, my ex, and he was with his friends. So we started talking a little bit, and his friends, who were male, they started talking about dating. And then one specific friend that I did not like at all at the time, we had arguments over him because I did not like him, but my ex defended him. Anyway, I digress. So he was talking about his experience dating, and then he was talking about how he believes that there are two types of women out there: the type that you sleep with and the type that you marry. And he said that those two types of women are not the same, are not mutually the same, because he thinks that women who he sleeps with, he would go meet them at a club, he would have one night stands with them and all of that, but he would never take those women as his wife, because he wants a good girl to be his wife, someone who's a virgin, someone who has never slept with anyone before, someone who is not sexually liberated or sexually progressive. So that's what he wants as a wife, but he doesn't want to sleep, you know what I mean. And it reminds me of how a lot of men here, at least in Cambodia, they would say that they marry a good girl, but then they would cheat on that good girl with a whore.
With a bad girl.
Yeah.
I think we are the bad girls. We are definitely bad girls. Like
So that's the thing. Good girls, women think that if they act like good girls, then they will move forward in life in like the traditional trajectory, where you will find a husband, you will be his caretaker, his servant, his all those kind of things, and then to mother his child, while he cheats on you with another woman who is a bad girl, but she is also the victim in a way, because she's also being sexualized and objectified by said men, right? So this falls under patriarchy, and it harms all of us, the bad girls and the good girls, because on one end we've been conditioned into suppressing everything, including our sexual needs, our sexual desires, so that we can follow the traditional route. On the other hand, women who defy that, who become sexually free and sexually liberated, we also feel the oppression, we feel the objectification, we feel the pressure from society, from the patriarchy as well. But on the other hand, men also suffer from that, in a sense of what you were talking about, how men need to have sexual desire, men need to want to have sex and all of that. But not all men are like, not all men, but you know what I mean, like not all men have the same sex drive. Men don't necessarily have to fall under that toxic masculinity box either. So in a sense, patriarchy, that conditioning from patriarchy, it harms everyone. Religion. I'm sitting there like I'm missing something. Religion, I feel like, so Cambodia is a Buddhist country, and there Cambodia is not overtly religious, but we use culture more as a tool of shame for people. So perhaps you can speak more on the religious side from your end.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like the biggest the biggest tool that people use when it comes to religion to suppress and to control women would be things like don't have premarital sex and all of that.
Sex,
Yeah,
should be a
just be
virgin.
exactly. The whole purity culture
Yeah,
is
purity
huge,
culture.
huge here.
Yeah,
Exactly, it's huge
yeah,
here.
yeah.
What do you
Same
think?
here, actually. So Ghana is divided. It's like a Christian and a Muslim country. We've spoken about this before, and like both religions like mix up really well. But I'm going to speak from like the angle of growing up in a Christian home. So growing up as a girl who like had all these dreams and had like this pent up sexual desires and all that, it was really weird. I know in a previous episode I spoke about how I did not even masturbate, so I was like almost 18 or 19. So religion here puts a lot of shame on women's sexuality and women's desire. That's so they push a lot of purity culture. So as a woman, as a girl, your worth is attached to your virginity. Your worth is attached to your body count. So if your body count is high, a man automatically feels like, yeah, okay, you're disqualified. You're not marriage material. You're not wife material. I can mess around with you. We can have all the fun. We can have sex. We can go out. We can do all this. But then next week, you will get an invitation to my wedding. And it happens so much here. Like a lot of times on social media, you see girls tweet, oh my god, I was with this man last night and I just saw pictures, he's getting married. And like it makes you wonder. Yes, it makes you wonder, like, what influence are these people getting? A lot of time they are also religious. I think it's just really annoying that like in all aspects of influence and control, men are held to a different standard than a woman is. It's the same when it comes to religion and sexuality. So even though they generally preach like purity culture and abstain from sex before marriage for like both genders when you're growing up, I feel like it gets to a point where the focus is just on women. The focus is just on women. That women should not be out there. Women should not, want certain things. Women should not have certain tones. That's why even when you see like a Christian couple in a relationship, the man is stepping out, and when the woman finds out, the church people will actually sit them down and say, oh, you should forgive him. But if it was a woman who went to cheat, wahala. So wahala. I don't know how I'm going to explain wahala to you as an African. It's like problem. But I guess we say it's like an exclamation for like when you're saying, oh, something is like a big issue. So that's the thing. Yeah, basically over here they're just very big on body count, on purity culture, and like a woman should be a virgin in order to get married. So I think men here think the same way as your ex's friend. Actually, they have like men everywhere are conditioned to think the same way, to sexualize and objectify women, because I feel like if you think about your woman or a woman you like as a person, you will not even think about them in that way. That's all, they've been with other people, so I'm not going to marry them. Like, okay, what are you also out here doing? Are you not dipping your key in other keyholes? Like, let's be fucking serious. Like, so what if I also wake up and I say, oh, I'm going to marry a virgin? I feel like it's actually going to be so difficult to find a male virgin than to find a female virgin, because women have been oppressed, suppressed, and conditioned for decades while the men get away with it. So fucking annoying. Ugh.
That reminds me of something that happens here as well, which is when if a woman gets married and then she happens to be quote unquote good in bed, as in she knows what she's doing and all of that, sometimes it would raise suspicion in the man. He would be questioning her. He would be like, are you a virgin?
How many men have you been
with?
Where did you learn this?
Exactly. But then if she doesn't know how to do anything, then he's gonna perceive her to be innocent, to be a virgin, but then he's gonna complain to his friend. They use this term, my wife is like a log, it's like a piece of wood, because she's just lying there. And then they justify this.
She doesn't know what to do. Then they start stepping out. They start going for, like, the sexually liberated women, but for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. So damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Oh, women, the world is so cruel to us. Honestly, it's such a shame, because we are amazing beings as fuck. Back on sexual shame. So I think from everything we've said so far, it goes without saying that the patriarchy religion has like a very big impact on women suppressing their sexuality. So what happens when a woman feels like, okay, I'm going to just go along with everything society expects of me. I'm going to be a good girl, and I'm not going to tell this man that I have kings, that I have fetishes. I'm going to lie about my body count. In fact, even though I've been with 10 people, I'm going to say, I've only been with one person to get away with it, and I'm going to act as innocent as I am. What is the impact of these decisions? What is the impact of good girl conditioning and suppression of sexuality, because women are made to feel like they should be ashamed of the things that they want sexually? What impact does it have on us as women?
So first of all, we lose our freedom. Second, we lose our autonomy. And those are very important things, because we lose ownership of our body in a way when we relinquish that by being a good girl, by being conditioned by society, by patriarchy. And control is a very, very big topic when we're talking about social dynamic, when we're talking about systematic oppression. It's all about control. It's all about who has the control. And in this case, it would be conditioning women to relinquish our control to men, to society, so that we will do everything to please men, to please patriarchy, to please the male gaze. And what happens when you lose your freedom, when you lose your control and your autonomy? You are no longer yourself, right? You can no longer control your life, the trajectory of your life, what you want, what you need, or even have the courage or the confidence to claim what you want. So when it comes to sexuality, sex should be something that you enjoy as well. Sex should be kind of like a dance where you give and also you take. But with this conditioning, women are being taught that it's something that we are giving to men. We're giving parts of ourselves. Even even with the terms that people use, like you're giving away your virginity, men are taking your virginity, words like that. So
a man is having sex with you, not that you're both having sex.
Exactly. So because of that, women become sexually oppressed. Women don't have the freedom, the confidence to talk about what we want. And sex is an important part of human experience. I know that asexual people exist, and not everybody enjoys sex the same way. But for many people, it's a fundamental way of expressing ourselves, of seeking pleasure. It's an essential part of being a human. So losing that part is losing a big part of who you are, of what it means to be a human for a lot of people. And even in partnerships, in relationship, sex is also important. So what happens when women are doing it to please their partner, to please their husband, to please the men? Then they are not deriving pleasure from that. They are essentially just being there for the male gaze, being there for their partner, being an extension of a man rather than being their full autonomous self.
Yeah. I agree with everything, and just sort of like adding up to, you know, the language around men taking our virginity, men having sex with us. I think one thing that also does is it disconnects you from your body, because you don't start seeing yourself as like a person. Just like you said, you start seeing yourself as an extension of the things your partner wants. So you are not in touch with your body. You don't know your body. You don't know the things your body wants. You don't know the things your body needs. That's why women are always thinking of sex as something that happens to them, not something that happens with them. So you need to start thinking about sex as sex. I had sex with this person. No, you know, this person has sex with me. The language, it shows that you're not embodying yourself as a person with needs, as a person with wants. And but I already said this, that women start to fake it and they start to perform. So when women feel shame from suppressing their sexuality, they start thinking of performance as opposed to pleasure when they're having sex. So it also fuses into like the collaboration bit that you said, because now you are just so in tune with your partner's body. You're trying to do everything to, like, you know, please them, to make them happy. You that's actually being male centered. Like, when you start thinking of sex that way, you're not centering yourself. Now you are centering a man. You are centering the man's pleasure. That's why you are performing for the man. Meanwhile, you know, there's nothing going on for you to be making those sounds, babe. Like, we know very well that this man is not pleasuring you. Like, he's not giving you anything, but you are faking it because society says, you know, you should be a good girl and please your husband, and forget about whether your husband is pleasing you. A lot of women are going without orgasms. They are going without good sex because the men are shitty. But good girl conditioning says, you know, you can't speak up to your man, and you can't speak out about the things your body needs, the things your body wants. One point is another impact is what the results it has on your self-worth, because a lot of times, because you were never taught to speak up for yourself, you were never taught to, you know, set boundaries with men, you attach your self-worth to men. So it makes it very easy for men to manipulate you, to control you, to oppress you, like all that things, because you always just think of yourself as an extension of a man, of your partner. I think this point also fuses into like a lot of women not being able to stand being single, because like our whole lives as women, we are told that you are something when you're attached to a man. So in our last episode on the Century Men, you mentioned the whole misses and miss, and you know, like all those things, they are so attached to like a man. The man has the authority before you. So a lot of women keep moving from relationships to relationship. Like, you're not breathing, you're not catching your breath, you don't know yourself without a man. All you know is you as a partner to a male person, and that's just it. That does something to your self-worth. It erodes like the value you see in yourself as a woman and as a person. So just talking about all these, Kath, to summarize everything, how are the good girls out there? Like, what should they do to decondition and unlearn this conditioning that society has put on them? Because I'm never going to blame the women. We suffer so much at the hands of, societal expectations, stereotypes, and all that. But I feel like at some point you need to start working on yourself. So what are some ways that the good girls can unlearn the conditioning that they've been through their whole lives?
So I'm gonna go back a little bit about your point on how society is telling women that we need to have partners. So I want to raise the example of the word spinster. A little history fun fact. So you know how spinster is being used to refer to women who are who are of the older age, who don't have a husband, who are not married, and it's used as a way to shame women, right? Especially during the Victorian, during the Regency era. But the thing is, the word spinster has been around since the mid 1300s. And the original meaning was not like that. The original meaning was simply to refer to women whose occupation was spinning yarn or threads. And they were making money off of that, meaning that these spinsters were independent, were financially independent. But society didn't like that, because what happens when a woman is financially independent? She doesn't need a man. She doesn't need to get married in order to support herself. So society, patriarchy, started flipping the term spinster around to use it as a way to shame women. Like, oh, if you don't get married, you are a spinster. You're like that woman, right? You're like that woman who spins yarn. But it goes from just a neutral word about a woman with an occupation, with a job, to something to shame women. That if you're financially independent, then you're like that. So it's aligned with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really interesting looking back at history and seeing how patriarchy has shaped the world that we're living in and the language that we use. It's really interesting. Going back to ways to unlearn that, I would say know that it's okay to be unpleasant. It's okay to be bad. It's okay to be
rude,
undesirable. It's okay to be rude. It's okay to be unlikable. There's a difference between being kind and being nice. Being kind means that you're kind to people, you don't mistreat them. But being nice, sometimes nice people let other people walk all over them.
Yeah, right? They don't have boundaries. I've been there. Exactly. I feel like I'm so there with some people, so I get you.
Exactly, right? When you're kind, it doesn't mean that you let everyone walk all over you, but you're kind to people. But when you're nice, then you let people walk all over you. You don't have boundaries, because the moment that you set your boundaries, people will say that you're being difficult. Don't be afraid to be difficult. This is something that I've learned as I grow older. It's that I start to care less and less about what other people think of me, about whether people like me, whether people think that I'm a good person or not, because as long as I don't go out of my way to mistreat people, to hurt people, to do anything to harm them, but I'm just doing what I want to do, I'm just being myself, I just set my own boundaries, I don't let people walk all over me, people will think that you're a bad person. People will think that you're unlikable for that, because you're a woman. You know how men can be a leader, or men can be a manager, but women would be bossy. You know, that kind of comparison. Women would be aggressive, that kind of thing. So the things that men do, it's considered to be positive, while women do the same thing, it's considered to be negative. So you know what, unlearning that is to stop caring. And I know it's easier, it's actually harder than it sounds.
Easier said,
exactly. But let go of that. It's okay to be unlikable. It's okay to be considered to be bad or unpleasant. Just we're not here to please the male gaze. We're not here to be a good girl. We're not here to please the patriarchy. You know what they say? Bad girls have more fun, right?
Yeah.
Good girls don't make history. Good girls don't make history.
True, true. I agree with everything you said, Kat, and I just want to add that as women, we need to, stop choosing to be soft for men, because you can be soft for yourself. Like, nobody is saying don't be feminine, but I feel like we've hit like a new wave where a lot of women are associating being feminine with, like, pandering to the male gaze. So like now it's actually annoys me. Like, you see a lot of girls on TikTok and they're like, the last time I was saying, bitch, speak up. Who are you trying to please? Men, oh my god, can, like, open your mouth. And this is not like I'm not trying to attack like soft-spoken girls or anything, but there are legit people who do not speak like that for real. They only start speaking like that because now they want to attract like a certain market. So again, choose to be soft, choose to be feminine for yourself, not because you want approval from men.
It's kind of like how some women would speak in a high-pitched baby voice in front of the men. That's the thing. Or some women would just act dumb when they're so smart, but then they would act dumb in front of men so that men can come in and show off their mediocre intelligence, right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. So I read a tweet not so long ago that says that it's crazy that now that the feminist wave is like really picking up, because the world is like being more cruel to women. We are seeing a lot of women also being like crazy pick-me's, because there are women out here who are legit saying that they hate that feminists fought for the right to work, because they want to, like, stay home and then be fully financially dependent on a man. I'm like, are you mad? See, I love free money. Like, let's not get it twisted. I love free money. I love spending a man's money. But I always say I'm not very tolerant of men and their stupidity, because everything I want for myself, I can actually get with my own money. So if I'm taking money from a man, it's like, okay, like, I'm just taking it because I'm not spending my own money. My money is somewhere. But I never want to be in a position where my whole life is dependent financially on a man. Because what that does to you is that it gives them an avenue to oppress you more than they even have. Because I cannot imagine going to a man to say, oh, it's my time of the month, can you give me some money to go get sanitary products? Like, that's crazy. And that's the life some women want. And I don't know, maybe it works for you, but I'm just saying, before you choose that kind of life, you really need to sit down and assess like all the negatives it comes with. There's no shame. It's not masculine to pay your own bills. There's no shame to take money. I don't know, like, yeah, the economy is hard, the world is hard right now. So sometimes when I'm buying things for myself, I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had someone to pay for this for me. But like, at the end of the day, I am so fucking proud of myself, because I've got to be like, no man is about to use money to get me to, like, behave a certain way or act a certain way, because I am a boss bitch. I'm a bad bitch as fuck. I'm not a good girl. Like, no good girls over here. But like, I definitely do not need a man to pay my bills for me. If he does, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Get out of my life. Get the hell out. And that's how women need to start, like, learning about themselves and learning how society has conditioned us to be so dependent on men. It also gives them the power to, keep having these outrageous expectations that you need to be this way, you need to be a certain way. I'm not going to be a certain way. I will speak to you however I want, however I please. I can be respectful, I can be kind, but I am not obligated to be nice to you or to make you feel a certain way because you think you're a man and I'm a woman. Please, like, we don't do that over here.
I want to add something
Oh,
to that
I've
as well.
ranted.
It's okay. It's a good rant. So I want to add something to that as well. It's just something that you're taking away from this episode. It's this.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, we live under a capitalistic world. We're living under capitalism. And in this society, money is power. Money is very important. Being able to be financially independent, being able to go out and work is a privilege. Not every woman is able to do that. I hope that we understand that it is a privilege. And it is a power as well. Trust me, you don't want your future, your livelihood to depend on whether or not a man likes you, to depend on whether or not a man likes you anymore. You don't want to live like that. You don't want to wake up and wonder if your husband is gonna leave you with nothing just because he decides to not like you anymore today. You don't want that kind of life. Being able to be financially independent means you have power, means you have control, means that if he is abusing you, you have the way to get out. Because the one thing that makes it really, really difficult for survivors and for victims to leave an abusive situation is financial constraint. If you don't have the means to get away from your abuser, it's gonna be extremely difficult for you to get away from that situation.
Yeah. Totally, I totally agree with you. And this brings us to the end of our episode today. We did a lot of talking, but if you watch this, you know someone who is like, has picked up the good girl conditioning on their heads. I feel like a lot of women need to see this episode because like we need to start owning our bodies. We need to start owning our wants, our needs, and unlearning the things that society has put on us. Because I get it. It's not our fault. Like obviously, it's not our fault at all.
No.
But like maybe we need to start thinking as women, what will my life look like? How will I feel like if I stop pandering to society and I stop pandering to the male gaze? Like I promise, like from the two of us, you're going to be so happy. Like you're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel liberated. There's just freedom that comes in knowing that you are a person capable of making like all the decisions that has to do with your body. And as always, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. And you can follow us on our social media channels at It's Ones and Rabbits on TikTok and Instagram. And we are also on Spotify with just sounds, Ones and Rabbits, just in case you want to listen to these two gorgeous and opinionated feminists rant about like all the ways that society is oppressing us as women, and then guide you on your journey to be like a liberated woman. You can also listen to it while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, while you're driving in the car even. And subscribe to our YouTube channel for more enlightening episodes just like this one. Bye guys.
Bye.